there's a number of different ways to skin the European cat. And I could spend an hour talking about this from a family system perspective, from a historical perspective, from a financial perspective, from a military perspective, geopolitical and everything else. Let's do the 30,000 foot worldview. We've already established that there's no collateral in Europe,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Well, if
Let's
you don't
talk.
have any collateral, well, then you're not a world power,
Yeah.
right? So now, and I think I'm the first. I think I originally, in a free associating one day in a podcast I was doing with Alex Craner, I said, imagine like you do the map of the world, and every time anybody lays the world out, Europe's always at the center. And then, North America's over here, China's over there, and the Pacific Ocean is kind of wrapped around the sides. Now, shift that 180 degrees, put the Pacific Ocean in the middle of the map. Now, it's a kind of a boring map because you've got a big blue dot in the middle of the, big blue expanse, and there's no civilization there. But around the Pacific Ocean are the three world powers that are going to come out of this: the United States, Russia, and China. What we're headed for, they have collateral. We have unbelievable amounts of collateral. The Russians have untold amounts of collateral, and the Chinese have, by virtue of the fact that they are the dominant power in Asia, then they have tremendous amounts of potential capitals and collateral as well.
Yeah.
Put the three of them together, and now you have the three real power centers of the emerging world. What's coming next? What I think is on the table is a new Yalta. Everybody's talking about Bretton Woods 3. I'm talking about Yalta 2. The end of World War II, where we carved up the world.
Okay.
Yalta 2 will be Trump, Putin, and Xi. I think it's going to happen at Victory in Europe Day over in Russia, over in Moscow, because Putin invited both Trump and Xi to their equivalent of the 4th of July. I don't think a lot of Westerners really understand how important Victory in Europe Day is to the Russians. It's a solemn event. Okay. I think, if I remember correctly, there was a couple of years ago, and where Putin, ever understanding the importance of history. I think it was around that day where he goes to lay his, he goes to pay his respects at the tomb of their equivalent of their tomb of the unknown soldier for World War II. And it was raining cats and dogs. It was like a literal downpour in Moscow or in St. Petersburg, wherever this took place. And he walked out with the bouquet of flowers and did the event in the pouring fucking rain.
Mm-hmm.
No hat on.
Yeah.
No umbrella. Nothing. Just an overcoat. I don't think people have any real understanding. So for Putin to invite Trump and Xi to that event,
something's happened.
We are in a different freaking world, and the Europeans. And again, why he's cut them out of negotiations over Ukraine, and in many ways, I think he's also cut them out of negotiations in Gaza as well. And in many ways, he's also cut Israel out of the negotiations. But we can get into that. That solves very simply. It's actually not very complicated. But cutting Ukraine and Europe and the Brits out of those negotiations that's the return. That's truly the return of power. They're saying, look, this war only continues because of our tacit approval of it. We're the only ones who can make this war stick. The Brits can't field a battalion. Neither can the Germans. You got J.D. Vance out there literally saying in print, the German military is completely subsidized by the Americans. That's ending unless you do what we tell you to do. Now, you don't want to be told by us what to do by us. That's great. Fine. You can have your own military then, and we'll get out of the way. So they're going to carve the world back up. And what Europe is not happy about, because they know what's coming, is that Russia is going to wind up being the guarantor over Europe.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm not laughing at you, but I'm agreeing with you.
I know. You're laughing at the idea of it at this point.
I agree. I never thought
it'll
of it.
start with Eastern Europe, but by the time they're done with the sovereign, with us engendering a sovereign debt crisis in Europe, stripping them of their gold, stripping the Bank of England of all of its leverage, stripping stripping the City of London of its Forex business and its insurance business, which is what's coming. You can see it, Andy. You know exactly what I'm getting at.
I know what you're talking about. God.
They're not kidding.
We're like this. It just
like I know. You're like, I'm like looking at it going, I'm like looking at it going, yeah, I just used the weather control to move the storm over Siege Tabor. I got one guy in there, and now I'm bombing Carthage and Arakeen. I'm taking all three of them. Oh, and by the way, I have your last leader is a traitor, and your last leader is a traitor. Fuck you, I win. Turn 8. Oh, the only way I don't win is the Bene Gesserit called me 8.
Yeah.
I can do this shit all day long with this game. That game is literally power politics in a box, right? And like I watch Trump playing that, the way he's operating right now, and the way he's pushing people's buttons. Dude, I would never sit at the fucking Dune table or the diplomacy table with Donald Trump. I'm a prick, and I'm good at these freaking games. No way. I'm like, no, dude, it's okay. Like, and there's no coming in second in these games. That's the thing. Like, there's no, no, there's no, we're not talking points here. You win or go home, right?